Right, let's try again. So currently we have CGA against Sengoku Gaming. So it's CGA won one game today. Sengoku Gaming also won one game today. Starting with the bans, we have Syndra, Soraka, Rumble. For CGA, they keep banning Soraka. They seem to not like that pick. SG ban Aphelios, Elise, Akali seems to be pretty standard. Red side currently, Aphelios, Elise, and Akali seems to be all very high priority, while CGA have choose to ban Syndra, Rumble, and Soraka, leaving up Set, and they seems to really prioritize Set. I do think if they should just not pick Set, because that's not shown to be extremely strong in itself. It just kind of worked out as like this middle of the pack. It doesn't really do much because they're usually just going Black Cleaver, and I don't know how their scrims must look because this pick must not do anything like any game, and you're like, damn, this is good. Really surprising. Follow that up with a pretty standard Misfortune LeBlanc. LeBlanc is blind pickable for sure. I guess they could potentially have picked the Rek'Sai if they wanted Rek'Sai, or Lee if they could have picked that. I would probably pick Lee on 2 here instead to have that pick over Rek'Sai. But yeah, and it also kind of hides the LeBlanc, even though it's kind of obvious that's what they would do. Also allows them to not get a chance to counterpick for CGA. They followed that up, of course, with Lee and Senna. Senna is arguably a pretty good AD carry, and they seem to be more comfortable with that matchup into Misfortune than some other team have, like Burning Core, who did not like that at all. They thought Senna was not playable in that against that, and they just banned every other AD carry as well. Try and force them into that matchup, but it didn't even happen so. Rek'Sai is obviously a pre-early game oriented jungle that gets very useless if it doesn't get ahead, so it's very risky. Bans have followed through with that, they banning out mid laners that can potentially do good against LeBlanc. Lissandra, Zoe, I guess. On CDA, they banned out Leona, which seems is pretty good together with LeBlanc. I mean, well, yeah, that too, but mostly for Misfortune. Follow that up with a ban of Yorick for Upperman, who played that in last game. Very successful and very scary, especially against the set. And then we had the Nautilus lock-in, Kench lock-in. Nautilus lock-in is pretty good, very solid there. The Kench lock-in is more questionable. I think there are other supports to go for, but I guess they're just like, we have a losing lane anyway, so I guess there is some thought behind it, right? Now, Vlad should not have a good matchup here, I think. And it mostly makes you forced into going to a scaling comp, and your 2v2 is extremely weak right now on all lanes. Like, there's absolutely no lane that Gangplank, I mean, that Lee can actually play through. He can't play through bot lane. He can't play through mid. Top lane is questionable if he can play through. I think the Kale is the only real potential there. And even then, that's kind of a safe pick, where off the 6, they can't really do too much, right? And she's gonna chill and scale up. So I do think it's kind of interesting how they're going for Kale against the set, and they always pick it as last pick as well. But it does give them a late game insurance to the team that's very early game oriented against the Vlad as well, where the Vlad is going to be very problematic, where you can burst down someone, but not through the Kale ultimate, right? So let's see here now. Probably for Rek'Sai, he's probably going to look to get an early gank on. He can go for, technically, go for level 2 gank on the Vlad, but probably might go for a buff Gromp for Vlad or bot lane. Alternatively, he's gonna clear one side into a buff and then look to path mid or bot lane. It's probably those two lanes he's gonna look to play around. Top lane is not really gankable. Lee obviously has to start bot side because top lane is the only way he can impact the game. And he's very likely to start the buff Gromp to get there as fast as possible and impact it. If he goes for any other route, he's gonna delay it a lot and maybe opportunities won't arise anymore. And since Rek'Sai is starting red side now, as he should be expecting, because Rek'Sai should not start bot side if he's gonna impact bot side, because can't really do anything top side, so you should expect Rek'Sai to clear his top side or go for an early game gank bot lane, meaning he has time to go for this buff Gromp instead of going some other kind of route. In the end, he chooses to go buff and then go instantly top because he seemed to have got an opportunity, but it turns out he's just wasting his time by doing this kind of greedy route. Because he doesn't have his E, so he's no slow, no way to really stick on him aside from red buff. But the E slow is obviously slightly stronger. With that, he showed top lane, so he knows that he probably went buff and then went top because he showed top with double buff, meaning that he's not going to be on bot side for a while because he has to clear Gromp still. So with that, Rek'Sai steals the Wraiths, or most of them at least. Then he can get Scuttle now, and then Lee has to go for his Scuttle because he knows that Rek'Sai should have taken his bot side, so also securing the closest Scuttle does make sense in that way. So now they're handshaking Scuttles. Lee might try for something top again, but it's warded this time, so it's a dive if that's the case. I do not think this is really diveable for them. They did force out a TP to LeBlanc. I guess that's a win in a way. Right, so with that, oh, that's just unlucky that the ward just died when he walked in there. Otherwise, it could maybe have sneaked in, but yeah. I don't know why Tom Ken's just trying to spam his Q that much. The pressure should not really be that noticeable. I guess now it makes more sense, but before the lane was kind of in a state where they can really harass them anyway. In the same way. See here. Very, very... So Lee's now clearing his bot side to making sure it's all actually cleared. Because previously you didn't know if they actually had cleared, so. Now Lee doesn't know that he walked over a ward. He should expect it, but he doesn't know it, right? So, because they know that Rek'Sai was bot, and they don't know that it was Rek'Sai that placed the ward. No, wait, it couldn't have been either. Wait, when did I place that ward then? I do think Rek'Sai did place that ward before, but he has Sweeper now, so I'm not entirely sure. It's not too important though. Now this spamming of Q is fine, I think, if he goes for the safer ones. Lee's trying to rush this. I guess this is kind of risky because they kind of gave it away with how bot lane was pathing and positioning in the map. Oh, that's kind of... Right, so they got TP out of the set. Vlad is now TPing top to counter wave because they think they have this secured, which makes sense. They now have to force set into the mid lane though with tab ice. Guess the little bonk's not gonna be too sweet, but guess the little bonk is just not looking to stay in that lane. We're trying to punish, trying to get that better recall. Very smart. Hopefully the set goes Trinity this game. Oh, yes, off the shock, I just realized. Yeah, so Set is not going to be doing anything this game either. He is going to go tanky build, but he has off the shock as well, so. It really does hurt my soul. Like, you guys don't understand how hard it is to field just watching a really strong potential bruiser hyper like carry and then pilpable black cleaver on it, and you're like, why? No one really explains because no one thinks about it. But once someone question it, they're like, I don't know, everyone else doing it. And I'm just looking to clear this wave to then get a good back timing. By forcing to kill the cannon wave, it's pretty good. Also, in a way, it does force the. Usually, it can force the enemy bot lane to also recall because if they're standing in the wave, they get kind of chunked. And if they stay in lane, they're gonna stay chunked until you get back. Or they're having to use mana to heal up, or they recall and then they can lose CS2 and you get a better recall. It's really strong actually, strong tactic. Right, so Rex is getting Herald here. Not sure what he's gonna do here, can't really get anything done. I guess he's gonna force the plates. Which is fine. To try and hyper scale the Kayla a little bit. Or accelerate that scaling. Right, so dragging this up in 1.5 minutes, a bit more. They should be looking to put pressure on lanes so they can soon get a synchronized recall to set up vision. It's getting close to that time. This is kind of scary for the Kale. She has to recall a bit earlier than probably she wanted, unless she starts chugging biscuits. She could probably chunk down like way more if she wanted to, but I think it is a cannon wave coming, right? Can't quite catch on the minimap. No, it's not actually. So yeah, Tom Kench ulting up. Doesn't get anything done either. Dragon is spawning out in 55 seconds. It's about time to start denying other people's vision and then applying your own. Right? Trying to make sure Vlad is into the tower. At this point, I think LeBlanc could have had recalled for penetration boots or something along those lines before Dragon respawns. But I don't know, she's recalling now when Dragon is up in 6 minutes. Guess she's gonna use TP to get back, but alright, so Rexa is not in position to actually take it, but Lee was neither. So he get caught and get killed. Now, just purely by macro decisions such as getting plates, map movements, farming, and like 2 kills now, they're up 3k gold. Almost, so they have a really good advantage in that way. Dragon is not being pressured right now though, because Rek'Sai recalled instead. I think it's pretty dumb how they choose to not just take the dragon when it's free. Now they have to fight for it, and that's usually not good. Especially since LeBlanc has a whole Ludens right now. Lots of pressure and lots of damage. And LeBlanc just choose to recall to buy something. For 800 gold, not quite sure what it was she bought, but yeah, she's really strong right now. She's up 600 gold mid. Jungle is also up like 1.3k. Bot lane is up 300 gold. Like, shouldn't be no way they cannot take this. She bought boots and amplifying tome. Alright, so let's see here. Kale hit 11. This is a good point for her. She gets a lot more pressure in the lane. Actual, some dueling power, some shoving power. Guess they're looking to get some stuff on the Vlad. But the set TP did scare them quite a bit. Now, because it didn't take it, obviously, and this play mid where they had to recall, they now can take Dragon on CGA side. Now, I don't think Dragons itself doesn't matter, right? It's just that they get closer to Soul against a team that wants to stall out the game very far with the Kale pick. Do you think, however, it really depends how the team fight goes? Looking at it, right? Oh shit, that guy did not have a time to screw with that. Good camera work. Ofi getting screwed too, though. Trading 1 for 1. Right, so what was it? Yeah, so the thing is, they do have Vlad though, and Senna on enemy team. So, well, Senna kind of falls off during a period after mid game. Her late game is not the strongest in a vacuum, and because of she scales with crit and stuff, she does get to a point where if the game goes on for super long, she starts to scale up again because of souls, both in range and damage from that, and sustain, I guess. Now, I don't think the game is actually gonna go for that long. Not 100% sure, but I don't think so. It could potentially go that long, and well, what can you do at that point? Parent showing up side lanes and killing, like they're playing side lanes well here, putting pressure on the map by showing that up. There's nowhere else to really put pressure, so that's fine. Rek'Sai went down with the Herald before it goes down. Hopefully get charged. Yep, gets a charge. Tower dies. Kale gets a tower there too. So now currently CGA is losing a lot of gold. They're down for the 4.3k. There should really not be a point where it kind of starts to, like, as long as Sengoku game don't throw this, they should be winning this game for sure. Like, they're in a winning position and winning core. I guess some people could argue about the Vlad scaling is really hard, but I think Kale should be stronger currently. I think Yutori DC'd. Right. Getting back into the game. Let's see here. Let's actually just look at the state. So they are up 5.4k, about 5.5k. LeBlanc is building penetration items, flat pens. I don't think that's really good because they can itemize against that very easily on the enemy team, making it kind of not efficient. But I guess at this point it still is. Once Vlad gets any magic resist item, really starts to get worse. As that already does. Lee can also get MR items pretty easily. Ken should be building MR items as well. Senna with MR items isn't really unlikely either. Guess you can build a Hex Drinker if you really want to, and for example, considering how big LeBlanc is gonna seem to be, and they're dealing decent magic damage all around on the team, I think flat penetration items are actually not really worth it to invest into here. It's not like, I mean, you might want to eventually get Morello, right, against the Vlad. So it's not entirely dumb. I just think, like, at that point, you might as well just buy the whole thing. Hopefully. Yeah, okay. Okay, I can give him that. Morello is probably fine here due to the Vlad. Baron is a threat currently. Neither team does take it exceptionally fast. If anyone takes it fast, it's probably SG with the Kale. Sana just finished her Duskblade. MF does not have her Infinity Edge yet. Playing side lane should be fine. Also, they don't really want to bounce them back and forth doing ping pong. They would rather just freeze in a lane and then have the enemies move up to try and break them, if anything. Especially for the Vlad. He's gaining a lot from just having them being bounced back here by the Kale. Kale does have a problem with freezing though after level 11. She is almost 16 though. So I guess it's kind of good to put this pressure on the map as well. Baron is being pressured. There's a lot of vision down for Sengoku Gaming. Yoshi's kind of getting caught out, shonked out. Good thing they have sustain. I think this is kind of bad though. Ulti is not well timed at all. I don't even think he needed to flash. Like, it would die just due to the timing. Yeah. So, now we have a problem. Vlad can 1v1 the Kale. He knows it. Everyone knows it. Kale has to opt into more magic resist. She probably is gonna get the Banshee. Then she has to opt into more resistances here because of how big Vlad is gonna get. It's getting the Spellbinder probably here. Not sure if the Morello on Vlad, however, is the most valuable item here. Reason being is, like, enemy healing is pretty much just Kale, and the heals are not really big. Not gonna make or break whenever you kill something. It's not very efficient. Most people have magic resist on the enemy team currently. This fight is a bit wonky. Oh no, they got Baron for free. Why are they fighting this? Right, so your Kale died. What do you do as a team? Your threat died. Vlad has TP, they're running double TP. Do you start Baron? Pretend that you're not? I mean, Enti kind of gave it away. By this fight, they should have just dropped the Baron. I guess they just thought they could burst it down. I think if LeBlanc kept going damage on it, it would have been fine here. Yeah, Pyrian kind of threw that away. This should not really have happened. Now to get burned. And they get some kills. I guess this is how they throw the game. This is where they throw the game. Oof. So now they're sieging with their Baron. Kale is still dead. Kale's dead, so... What the hell? Kind of got caught here. Vlad is gonna ulti them down, burst them down. Now they got really low. They have ult back now. Right, so looking at this, there's no smite in the pit, so it doesn't really matter what HP it has, but it like, oh, it was down to 10 and 22. Just Vlad just tapping it. It's kind of lucky, but yeah, it was probably gonna go to CJ at any point anyway, even if Vlad just didn't take it there, due to how much damage it dealt to it. Set has a lot of tanky items right now. Vlad seems to be building death cap at this point. Probably a smarter point. Not sure why he has the Vindex Codex for the CDR, but aside from that, we have the... It's so sad that Sengoku Gaming actually throw this by doing this. It's actually makes me want to cry. Like, it's not supposed to end like this. Can't believe that, actually. They're doing so well with the Baron buff here, which on CGA as well, so they're playing it well. Pyrian's kind of tilted, it seems like he's missing stuff. It's not playing correctly. How long until Baron ends is 4 seconds. And they fight before that. They should not need to fight this. They're using the last Baron to start the fight. Set just walks up to them because they're in bad position. MF just being ran down. Can't do anything. Yep. Oh my god, did they actually throw this game like this? Holy shit, they were up so much gold and now they're behind. Right, so I think the call to go Baron was essentially a throw in itself. Like, it's didn't need to go Baron. The Kale died, they don't really have a threat. The enemies have threats. And you're not really on the same page, right? So it's a lot of miscommunication that led to the Baron being stolen there. Could have bursted it down faster with LeBlanc, could have turned on the enemies together as a team. If you really wanted to, it's probably gonna mean that you die anyway, but at least you don't give up Baron. It's oh, it's so sad. So much bad stuff happening there. That could have went well. Like, just a really sad thing that happened there. Because Sengoku Gaming, I always want to give Sengoku Gaming like the win because they were so far ahead and they just threw that lead. This last fight as well is really sad. Like, this is like the pinnacle over the. They could have just won the game after this as well. I'm pretty sure they could have just not taken the fight, just chilled and like, sure, we lose an inhib, 2 inhibs, but we're still very strong. We can just kind of chill and scale up. And no, they had to go in and die, and then they just end from there. This also sucks. Right, so we have 2 dragons for 2 dragons. Lad did decent damage, LeBlanc decent damage. Nothing hard carried. The game was pretty short though. Not too action packed. Fucking Pyrian. Why you gotta do that, man? Why do you gotta do that?